the left, ready on the right. Staff, locked and loaded, ready to go. All righty. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the May meeting of your Lewisville Town Council. It's always nice to have folks joining us here in the council chambers. Those of you who are watching at home at on TV6 or watching our Facebook feed, thank you for taking time out of your evening to be with us this evening and watch the business that goes on into your town. We're going to start our meeting this evening with our traditional roll call.
Ivan Huffman, thank you all for being here.
Julie Puckett, glad you're all here this evening.
Happy Thursday evening. My name's Melissa Hunt.
I'm Mike Horn.
Hi, Ken Sadler.
Evening, Jane Welch.
Good evening, Monty Long.
Very good. Let the minutes also acknowledge that our interim town manager, Stacy Tolbert, our town attorney, Elliot Fuss, there's our public works director back there, John Hanna, our town clerk, Dora Moore, and our town finance director, Pam Orrell. All the way in the back is our communication specialist, Veronica Leisure. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start our meeting this evening with an invocation by our council member, Ken Sadler, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by council member Jane Welch. Please stand if you're able and join us.
Let us pray. We thank you for the blessings that you've bestowed upon this town over the many years of its existence. We thank you for all things great and small. We thank you for the dedication of all those who serve the town, boards, committees, those of us on the council, staff, and the citizens of Lewisville who respect the legacy of the town and all that it's meant to all of us through the years. And I pray that we will continue to demonstrate the wisdom that we hope that we possess, and that we make decisions that are truly in the best interest of all of those who have entrusted those decisions to us. These and all good things we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Council members, we do have a couple of changes in our agenda this evening. We are going to add a closed session at the end of the meeting. We'll do that after, at the very last thing, before we have our reception, and then come back into meeting, and then we'll have our closed session before we adjourn. So that is an addition. Let's see. Dora, have there been any other changes, additions?
No, sir. The only other thing we would note is that the oath of office would be given between item 6 through C.
Yes. Very good. All righty. Council members, that's the agenda for this evening. Other than those changes, may we have a motion to adopt the agenda, please?
Motion to adopt.
Very good. I think Ms. Welch made the motion. Ms. Puckett made the second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That is unanimous. Thank you very much. Ms. Interim Manager, the consent agenda for this evening, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Council, on tonight's consent agenda is Resolution 2024-020, the financial statements for the 9 months ended March 31st, 2024. Approval of closed session minutes for April 3rd, 2024. Approval of agenda briefing minutes for April 4th, 2024. Approval of closed session minutes for April 4th, 2024. Approval of regular meeting minutes for April 11th, 2024. And lastly, approval of closed session minutes for April 15th, 2024.
Very good. Ladies and gentlemen, the consent agenda are items that routinely come before the council. There are financial reports in our minutes, and we take those as a group. Unless any council member wishes to discuss any of those individually, at which time we can do that. Council members, what's your pleasure, please?
Move approval.
Dr. Sadler makes the motion. Ms. Hunt makes the second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. That is unanimous. We don't have our traditional presentation by our sergeant this evening. He is away at his daughter's nurse's pinning. So it's quite an accomplishment for a young woman to finally be able to complete that training and step into a profession that's noble and important to all of us. So PJ, I know you'll watch this tape later on in the week. We miss you, but again, congratulations on your daughter's success. Ladies and gentlemen, there will be 3 opportunities to speak tonight. The first one will be a public forum, and you can address the council on any issue that you find appropriate and that you would like to share your thoughts with the council. The second one will be at a public hearing, and the public hearing is on our 24-25 town budget. And the third one will be a final public forum that we have at the end of the meeting for any of you that maybe have some concluding thoughts that you want to share. So with that, we will open our public forum tonight. We do have one speaker signed up, and Susan Morris. As Susan is making her approach to the podium, let me just compliment you and the Public Arts Advisory Committee for a spectacular opening last night of our Lewisville Kids I Love Lewisville art show. It was terrific. There was some spectacular artwork there, and you were the judge. So thank you so much for your service there. I know I could tell you were very proud of those young people when we walked in, and you kept shaking their hands and pointing them out and congratulating their parents. And the little talk that you gave to them was very moving and motivating. So thank you for all you do.
Thank you, and good evening, Mayor and council members. I have grown up in the area, and so I've had the privilege of watching Lewisville grow and develop into what it is today. And I want to also thank each one of you for all that you've done to help that growth and that progression. That's also just in case I run over my 3 minutes. I am, in addition to being a Lewisville resident, I am a colored pencil artist full-time. Now, I get different responses when I tell people that I'm a colored pencil artist. Some go, oh, wow, and some just go, oh, which translates to bless your heart. So we know that's never good. But colored pencil as a fine art medium is quickly growing and being recognized in the art community as a force to be reckoned with. Typically, when we think about colored pencil art, we think about what our children bring home or what we did when we were in the grade school. But I'd like to show you a sample of what colored pencil as a fine art medium looks like.
Oh, my.
Oh, wow.
So you can see it is really beginning to gravitate and really be able to compete with some of the more traditional mediums. Believe it or not, there is actually a Colored Pencil Society of America. It is a national governing board, and I have given each of you a pamphlet about that organization. And the reason I'm here tonight is to let you know that Lewisville now is the proud home of the newest district chapter on 125. And it's our mission to reach out to Winston-Salem, Western North Carolina, to talk about colored pencil, to educate people about colored pencil as a fine art medium. I think I'm just so pleased and proud to add this to all of the things that Lewisville has to offer. There are opportunities here in that we could have people from all over the state come and visit Lewisville as they learn more about colored pencils and participate in our district chapter. And I just wanted to let you guys know about that. You also have my business card there. If you have any questions about the district chapter, there's also samples on the back side of more fine art as colored pencil. Any questions?
Council members?
No questions. I just want to say I started out as an art student. I know the importance of color pencil, and I know that it can be a challenging medium. So that looks like a photograph. It's beautiful. Thank you for bringing that to the town.
Thank you. I just wanted to let you guys know.
Susan, thank you very much. Appreciate all you do. I know you're probably going to enrich our community and spread the talent and the opportunity to so many of our residents. So thank you for all you do.
Thank you. We also do have an open draw session every Monday from 10 until 12 at the community center. And the second Saturday of every month is open to the community for people to come and learn about colored pencil and try out different things. So, see y'all there.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Susan. Is there anybody else that wishes to speak tonight during our public forum? Very good. If not, we'll move on to our next segment of the meeting, and that's our public hearing. And Stacy, would you like to lead us into a kind of a preview of what we're going to be hearing for tonight?
Sure, thank you, Mayor. I would like to point out some highlights in the upcoming fiscal year 2024-2025 proposed budget. To start off, the proposed budget comes to you balanced with a tax rate of 21.7 cents per $100 of property value. Operation costs are proposed at $7,232,783. Included in the proposed budget are two major increases. The solid waste contract with Waste Management for trash and recycling services has an increase of $648,663 over last year's budget. The community policing contract with Forsyth County has also seen an increase of $191,060 over last year. In the proposed budget is an appropriation from our general fund of $263,827 needed for repairs of the Marblehead Dam in the Willow Run Municipal Service District. A letter of support from the MSD board members has been provided to you. The 5 cent per $100 of property value increase to the Willow Run MSD tax rate is due to the payback of this appropriation for the repairs. Lastly, I'd like to add there are no allocations proposed to the town's capital reserve funds in this fiscal year. So I'm willing to answer any questions that anyone has at the moment.
Any questions for Stacy? If not, ladies and gentlemen, this is our public hearing. Anybody here wish to speak on the 24-25 town budget? Please come forward, state your name and address. Anybody wish to speak? Please come forward. Yes, sir. No, sir, come right on up. Just state your name and address, and if you'll be kind enough to hold your comments to 3 minutes, that would be great. Of course, there's not a big crowd here tonight, so we may be flexible with that 3 minutes.
I'm Peter Schwartz, 1852 Barnstable Road in Lewisville. I just wanted a clarification on that 5 cents. Having been at the previous meetings, my understanding is that's 5 cents for an 8-year period, and then it reverts back, assuming no additional dam repairs are needed. So that was just going to be my question.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Schwartz. Anyone else wish to speak this evening? This is our public hearing on the budget. If there's no one else, then we'll close the public hearing. Council members, any thoughts or any questions before we move on? This was our public hearing. We will be voting on the budget at our June meeting, which is the second Thursday in June, and that's when we'll have one more budget work session, and that's the 13th, where we'll finalize some of the changes that I think we'll probably make, and then we will have the final budget for presentation to the council on that date. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, thank you. Stacy, I saw you nodding your head in when Peter asked the question. Can you just speak
Absolutely.
to that real quick?
Yeah, sure. That 5 cent tax increase is a temporary proposal in order for the MSD fund to be able to pay back the general fund for an interest-free loan for those repairs to be made. Now, we say temporary because the charter does state that in the event that 5 cent cap can be raised, it is for the purposes of cash flow when that is needed for something such as these repairs. That's a very large amount to have to pay for. If there were to be something different to where it does not go back to that original just 5 cents that's in the charter currently, then a public hearing would have to be held and residents would be notified. They would be able to speak at that time as well. So due to the charter, the language in the charter, this is just temporary in order for that amount of money to be paid back to the general fund, unless otherwise a public hearing would be held at a later date if a council or a future council would so choose to want to change that.
Thank you for the clarification.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Any other questions? All righty. Mr. Schwartz, come back up again. One more question. We can handle that.
I had heard, but I haven't heard mentioned here, that there's also a 4-cent increase in the property tax for the whole community.
Yes, sir, that's correct. And I think the interim manager kind of outlined some of that in the very beginning and the reasons why we were facing that particular increase this year. And again, I invite anybody who really has lengthy questions or would like much more detailed answer on our budget, give me a call at Town Hall. We'll be glad for you to come by, visit. We'll open up the budget. We'll take a look at it line by line, and hopefully we can answer all the questions you might have and the reasons that we made the decisions we did for this upcoming year's budget. And in fact, we encourage you to do that. We love for folks to know as much as they can about how their town operates.
At the risk of being eccentric, I'm going to ask one more question.
Okay. You come on up so we can hear you.
Since funds are needed by the MSG, one potential source of funds would be that folks who are not from that community who fish in the lake are supposed to pay for $100 towards a license. Has that ever happened? Are there people who have actually purchased a license?
Every once in a while, we have somebody who decides that they would like to fish in a lake, but we probably...
We did actually have one last week.
We had one last week.
We
Okay,
did.
very good. But Mr. Schwartz, they're few and far between.
I will add, Mayor, if I'm able, that is on an upcoming MSD board agenda item for us to discuss how to make sure to get that word out, that if someone does want to fish there, that they do come in and get those proper permits so that those funds can go to the MSD as well.
Oh, Mayor Horn?
Yes, ma'am.
Also, people are invited to our next budget meeting, correct?
It is an open session, yes.
And that's the 13th at 6 o'clock?
Monday the 13th at 6 o'clock. Very good. I'm a little embarrassed here because I had a wonderful presentation laid out that I've been working on for several days because I wanted to do the appointment of our new town manager, Justice. I will say that for the last 14 hours, I've been on the phone with the Geek Squad trying to get my computer to work and retrieve my files. As I sit here empty-handed, trying to stutter my way through this one, you can tell that it was an unsuccessful venture on my part, but I'm going to do my best without notes to do justice to what we're getting ready to do. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been absolutely my pleasure to know Stacy Tolbert for the last 8.5 years, right?
5.5 years.
5.5 years. I needed my notes. I know I did. 5.5 years. Stacy joined us as our planner, but prior to that, she had extensive experience in working with the county and working with planning and working with zoning matters and working with mapping. So she came to us, she was our top candidate for our planning position, and certainly we were very fortunate to be able to retain her. Well, over the course of time, we've asked Stacy to take on a number of additional responsibilities, and she's done all of those. She's been our interim manager, as she is now. She's been our assistant town manager over a period of time. Each time we've asked Stacy to step up and help run our town, she has done an amazing job. I think during our deliberations, when we learned our previous manager was leaving, I believe I can say this with almost unanimity that Stacy was the first person that came to mind that we would want to consider for this position. We spent a great deal of time talking about it. Stacy spent a great deal of time with us. She conferred with her husband, from what I understand, and her 2 boys. Hey guys, can you wave to us? There they are. Okay. Who understand that the commitment she's getting ready to make and the service that she's going to be providing our town and our residents. So, council members, it gives me an amazing sense of pride and accomplishment and gratitude to Stacy to make a motion that we hire Stacy Tolbert as our next town manager.
Second.
Another second.
Another second.
Council members, we have a motion and a second. Any comments?
I'd like to comment. I made comment, I think, when we placed Stacy in the interim position about just kind of how well you've stepped up and stepped into the position. And I think one of the newspapers picked it up. So I just want to echo that same comment this evening. I know your children are here, and it's going to get me emotional, which I very rarely do. But as a mother as a young woman, I think that it is extremely special that you can share this evening with your family. You've done you've done really well by the town, and you take it very seriously. You really do us well, so thank you.
I'm a new council member, but I want to say that from the very beginning, I was incredibly impressed with Stacy, with her presence, with her incredible knowledge. Anytime she presented anything, she was spot on. She had all the details. Any questions you had, she had the answers for you. I'm very proud to have been a supporter, and I know that she's going to do an amazing job. And I'm so impressed by the fact, too, I always believe you grow your own. When you have someone in your own backyard that fits everything you could possibly want, why would you go elsewhere? And she fits everything. So welcome, Stacy.
Thank you.
Anything else, council members? Very good. So we have a motion and a second. Now, let me modify my motion if I can. It's just not to appoint Stacy as our town manager, but it's to approve the contract, which will begin tonight.
May 1st.
Oh, we're going to retrofit back to May 1st and extend through June 30th, 2025. And that contract, I believe council members, all of you have had a chance to review it. So as I modify the motion to approve her contract, Dr. Sadler, will you accept that modified motion?
Yes, the modifications are acceptable to me.
Very good. Council members, with no further discussion, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, and congratulations, Manager Talbot.
Thank you very much.
We hope you all will stay with us a little bit at the end of this meeting tonight. We're going to have a little cake, and I'm not sure what's in the thermos over there, but let's hope it's something that will get us in the mood and to celebrate our new manager. So we encourage all of you to stay with us and celebrate this occasion with us. We have one more thing to do. As required by the state legislature, we are required to have a deputy finance officer, and that traditionally has been our manager. So I would also like to make a motion, please, that we appoint Manager Tolbert as our deputy finance officer.
Motion.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. That is unanimous, and we do have to have the formality of a swearing in. So our town clerk will come down, and I'm going to come down too, because on an occasion like this, the mayor gets a hug from the manager.
Reminds me of Riley.
I state your name.
Stacy Colbert,
Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America, that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the state of North Carolina and to the constitutional powers and authorities which are or may be established for the government thereof, and that I will endeavor to support, maintain, and defend the Constitution of said state, not inconsistent with the Constitution of the United States, to the best of my knowledge and ability.
I do.
I state your name.
Stacy Colbert,
Do swear that I will faithfully and impartially execute the duties of town manager and deputy finance officer for the town of Lewisville, North Carolina, according to the best of my skills and ability, according to law.
I do.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Thank you, Dad. Stacy, would you like to say a couple of words?
Emotional.
Well, I want to thank all of you. It's an exciting opportunity, and it's a opportunity that I believe I'm ready for. I know that I'm ready for, and again, excited to be here. Lewisville has blessed me over the years, and I'm really excited to be able to continue to give back to the town, to continue to give back to the residents, and serve in this capacity. So thank you very, very much for the opportunity. And I know we're busy, but we've got a lot to do, ready to hit the ground running. So thank you very much, Council.
Congratulations again, Stacy.
Congrats.
Pam, you have our next item on the agenda, please.
Yes. We have Resolution 2024-021. This is to approve the contract with Gibson Company, PA, and this is for audit services for the fiscal year 2023-2024, and the contract is for an amount not to exceed $33,870.
Any questions for Pam? I'll entertain a motion, please.
I'll move approval.
Second.
Dr. Sadler makes the motion. Ms. Hunt makes the second. Any discussion?
Now, all I was going to say is this is consistent with the discussion we had regarding this contract renewal during our briefing session. Is that?
That's
right?
correct, Dr. Sadler.
All right. And just for the sake of thoroughness, it talks, at least in the document you gave us, about the basic audit and then any additional auditing that is required based on expenditures. And would you comment on that just for a second, just so that folks have a more full understanding of what this exactly is?
Excuse me, there's a base audit, which is conducted in accordance with government auditing standards, and the cost of that base audit is $21,370. Now, in the event that we spend more than $750,000 of federal funding, then we are required to have a single audit, and or if we spend more than $500,000 of state money, then we're required to have a single audit. And I anticipate that we could have as many as 4 single audits this year between the money that we've spent with the gateway and the roundabout with our federal highway money, the ARPA money, and then we also have the Part F money and our PAL bill money, so that we could have as many as 4 single audits this year.
All right, thank you.
Any other comments? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. That is unanimous. Stacy, we have a number of items coming up here that are related, so why don't you maybe give us a lead in and we know where we're going. Guide us through, Ms. Manager.
Sure thing. So tonight we do have the next 5 items pertaining to the Jack Warren Park improvements made possible by our awarded Part F grant. These improvements include an amphitheater, a disc golf course, a nature trail, and some connecting sidewalks at Jack Warren Park. With the assistance of McGill and Associates, we held a formal bid opening on April 18th and received 5 bids. The lowest bidder was Garanco Incorporated. We have decided to self-perform 2 aspects of the project, that would be landscaping and also electrical work, at a cost savings to the town of approximately $22,630. So, Mayor, with your direction, I would like to turn over the first 3 items, items D, E, and F on the agenda, to our Finance Director, Pam Orrell, and she can further explain the transfers of those funds.
Okay. All of you have a staff report in front of you, and it should be the second staff report that's in your stack. And at the very top, it'll have 3 ordinances and 2 resolutions. Does everybody have that?
Yes.
Okay, if you look on the second, or page 2 of that staff report, since we weren't able to discuss this at the briefing last week, I wanted to kind of run through the numbers pretty quickly as far as what you're going to be approving tonight. Starting at the very top, you see a box. This project had a Part F grant associated with it. The amount of the grant was $230,940. We had a town match of $251,85. So we had an initial budget of $481,125. As the new manager just mentioned, we did engage McGill Associates for design and engineering, and their contract, which you see in the second box there, was $116,500. Now, if you look at the third box, you'll see all of the costs that we anticipate we will incur to finish up the project. Running through those quickly, you see the contract with Garanco, $420,176. And then also a contract for electrical of $57,910. As far as landscaping, we're going to perform that in-house at an anticipated cost of about $5,000. And then we built in a 15% contingency into the construction part of this contract. So we anticipate additional costs to complete this project of $555,549. So when we add that to our design contract, we're anticipating a full price for the entire project of $672,049. Now, if you'll just flip to the next page.
Pam, sorry to interrupt you. Is there any way that we can throw that up there for public to see? Yeah. Great, thank you.
After that out.
Sorry for the
That's it.
interruption.
Okay, so on this page you see right here, on the third page, you'll see that currently we have a budget for this project of $520,645. And so we're a little short in our budget by $151,404. So tonight I'm asking you to amend the capital project ordinance for the Jack Warren Park improvements in the amount of $151,404 to bring it up to what we anticipate it will cost to complete the entire project of $672,049. So are there any questions about that before we run through the approvals?
Already? I'm sorry.
Just a clarification, Mayor, if you may, or if I may, or
Sure.
you, or whomever may. Stacy mentioned the $22,000 savings. So these amendments are taking all of that into account. Is that correct? When we're doing the contracting, like for example, nature
Oh, you're
trail.
talking about for the electrical?
Right, and the
Yes.
landscaping.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. And I might mention too, the additional amount we're putting into the budget, that will be funded by what we have left in our Parks and Rec capital reserve, and also it will be funded out of the general fund.
Any other questions?
Yeah, yes, sir. How much comes out of the general fund? The 113 or the 151 is what's coming out of general?
It'll be the 132, 188.
Okay.
Down at the bottom
I see
box.
that. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Anything else?
Mayor, perhaps it'd be helpful to talk a little bit about Part F. We use that acronym, and not everybody will understand what Part F is. It's the Parks and Recreations Trust Fund, and it's within DENR, so the Department of Environment and Natural Resources. They may have changed that name a little bit since I was associated with it. But in order to fulfill our obligation under the agreement with Part F, this would require that we proceed in the way that we're proceeding. That's my understanding as to why this is occurring.
That is correct. If we did not proceed in the way that the grant was originally awarded to us, then we would need to go back to Part
Right.
F for an amendment.
And we don't want to do that. Right.
I'm ready for a motion.
All right, just thank you, Dr. Sadler, for that, because I think that's also a great introduction, that we did get a Part F grant for the Shaliford Square, and we're all familiar with that. We did get a Part F grant for Jack Warren Park, so this will be the third award that the town has received from the State Parks and Recreational Trust Fund. So we've been very fortunate to enhance the recreational and social opportunities for our residents through not only these grants, but also through our ability as a town to match those grants.
Mayor, we received one of the first Part F grants in '97. I think it was 97 or 99. Must be 99 because this is 25 years. And we were completing that obligation. And well, some of you know I was on the Parks and Recreation Trust Fund for a number of years. And the fact that they have given us 3 grants should not be taken for granted. It's not typical that a town will get 3 grants, and it really speaks to the way we've managed our responsibilities under those grants. And so I just, want to give credit to the town staff for the way they've been managing this project, and looking forward to its completion. The town square has been one of those projects where, initially we were a little bit unsure about how well it was going to be received, and anybody who's been here through the years knows the impact it's had on community and Jack Warren Park now. And I'm sure that these changes that are going to occur with these additions are going to be equally appreciated by the town and its citizens.
And Doctor, I'm going to present to you, when we open the disc golf course, I'm going to present to you your own monogram Frisbee. They're not Frisbees, they're discs, right?
Discs.
But they are Frisbees.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. We have a motion and a second. Discussion occurred.
We didn't motion yet. We haven't
We had a
motioned
motion.
yet.
I thought we had a motion.
Made the
One here.
motion.
I thought Dr. Sadler makes the
Yeah.
motion. And we don't have a second, though.
Second.
Very good. Ms. Puckett makes a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That is unanimous. Thank you. Next item, Pam.
Okay, now we have ordinance 2024-009. This will amend the budget ordinance 2023-001, and this will allow us to transfer $58,736 from the Parks and Recreation Capital Reserve Fund to the Jack Warren Park Improvements Capital Projects Fund. That will pretty much empty out that capital reserve. I'm leaving just a few dollars in it just to keep it active.
Any questions? Entertain a motion, please, council.
Second.
Makes the motion. Mr. Huffman makes the second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. That is unanimous.
Here we have ordinance 2024-010. This will amend budget ordinance 2023-001. This will allow us to transfer $132,188 from the general fund to the Jack Warren Park Improvements Capital Projects Fund.
Any questions? Entertain a motion, please.
So move.
Second.
Ms. Welch makes the motion. Mr. Long makes the second. Any discussion?
So this will have no adverse or detrimental impact on the general fund. It'll keep us within our guidelines for.
Yeah, I mean, it will decrease the general fund in the
Right.
current year. We mostly need the money for cash flow because we have to spend quite a bit of our own money before we can get reimbursement from the Part F grant. So this allows that particular fund to stay in the black, so to speak. We
Right.
can't let it go into a deficit. Once the project finishes, we will still have cash left in it. Then it will be transferred back to the general fund or to another project if you so choose.
Right.
So.
And contingency is just that. It doesn't necessarily mean that'll be spent either.
Exactly. That's correct, Dr. Sadler.
Ms. Hunt?
Can we expect that reimbursement in this fiscal year?
I have submitted for one reimbursement in this fiscal year, but we have not spent a lot so far, so it would be pretty small. But should all hit in the next fiscal year.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Very good. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. That is unanimous. Stacy, I think we circle back around to you.
Yes. Next is Resolution 2024-023. The purpose of this resolution is to authorize the town manager to sign a contract and other related documents with Garanco Incorporated. The contract is for the Jack Warren Park Improvements Project in an amount not to exceed $420,176.14.
Any questions?
A quick question. How many bids did we have on that project?
5. We had 5. Mm-hmm.
And we're required to take the lowest bid unless we can prove the quality wouldn't be there.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Very good. May we have a motion, please?
Second.
Mr. Huffman makes the motion. Ms. Hunt makes the second. There's no discussion. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. That is unanimous.
Last, item H on the agenda is Resolution 2024-024. This resolution is to authorize the town manager to sign a contract and other related documents with Johnson's Modern Electric Company Incorporated. The contract is for JME to perform the electrical work for this Jack Warren Park Improvement Project in an amount not to exceed $57,910.
Any questions? I'll entertain a motion, please.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Ms. Puckett makes the motion. Mr. Long makes the second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much.
Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
I have just a clarification. When you're mentioning the word not to exceed, so these could come in under or?
No, these are the bids,
Okay.
and so these are the exact amounts that they bid the project for. So they have to do that project for that amount. It will not exceed that amount. If it did, then they would have to come back for change orders and have justification.
Thank you for that clarification.
All righty. We're down to administrative reports. Stacy, I think you're up.
Yes. Our first Starlight Movie Night at Shalford Square is coming up on Friday, May 17th, featuring Jurassic Park. The movie is rated PG-13 and will begin at dark. The Girl Scouts will also be hosting bingo prior to the movie, and concessions will be available. I'd like to mention that town offices will be closed on Monday, May 27th in observance of Memorial Day. But that evening, we will have from 6 to 8, the Embers will perform at the square on May 27th for our military appreciation concert, also with concessions available. After that is the Camel City Yacht Club with smooth rock of the 70s and 80s on June 8th from 7 to 9 p.m. at the square. Our next blood drive is scheduled for Wednesday, June 12th at the Mary Alice Warren Community Center. Those interested to give, you can sign up on the website, or I believe they also take walk-ins for those blood drives. And always more information for all of these events can be found on our website at www.lewisvillenc.net.
Folks, if you have not looked at our events calendar for the upcoming summer, please do. It is on our website, but also every resident in every household in Lewisville should have received a wonderfully colorful designed flyer by our communication specialist that outlines all of our movies, all of our events, all of our activities. This is going to be a great summer in Lewisville, folks. I hope to see you at the concerts. I hope to see you at the square, and it's one more time. And I think we alluded to it earlier. This is the way we build community. We create events and opportunities for our residents to come together so we can get to know each other, we can meet each other, and we can have a greater appreciation for each other. All righty, Madam Clerk.
Yes, sir. Council, just a reminder that the remaining dates for your budget calendar are a workshop on Monday, May 13th at 6 o'clock. The budget ordinance final review will be June 6th at 6 o'clock. That is your agenda briefing. And then final budget approval is scheduled for June 13th at 6 o'clock at your regular council meeting. Also, a reminder that next week we will have a board and committee collaboration orientation session. This is for all of our current board and committee members that are in position effective April 1st of 2024. That will be on May 16th here in this room from 5:30 to 6:30. Then following that, we would like to honor our volunteers for the current year as well as this past year. And that will be done in this room as well at 6:30.
Very good, thank you. Any questions?
I don't have a question, Mayor, but unfortunately I won't be able to be at the appreciation event. I'll be out of town next week.
You're going to miss the pizza.
Save me a slice.
I'll save you a slice. Very good. Council members, any other comments, any other thoughts? All righty. We are going to break for just a short period of time while we have a reception for our new manager. I know, guys, are you ready for some cake back there? Yeah, heads are nodding. Okay, so we're in good shape. So we're going to break here just for a little bit. Please stay and have some cake with us, and then we'll come back and go into closed session and discuss some matters that are of importance to the town. So we'll be right back.
Public comments, are we going to do that before we?
Well, thank you, Jane. Yeah, let's do that, because usually I say that for the end, but let's do our final public forum now for those people that don't want to stay until the end of the meeting. This is the one final opportunity for you to speak to the council this evening. Any thoughts that you might want to share? This is a great time to do it. I see no head stirring except the heads bobbing for cake. Very good. Folks, we'll be right back. We're going to take a short break. All righty, folks, welcome back. Thank you for allowing us to take that pause and have a brief celebration. It means a lot to us to have a new manager, but it also is important for all of us here in the audience and the staff and the council to celebrate that moment. So thank you for your indulgence, and welcome back to our meeting in progress, as we say. Council members, we don't have any other items on the agenda except going into closed session. So Elliot, would you please make the appropriate introduction?
Let me make a comment.
Yes, sir.
Just as a shout out to one of our residents, Rusty LaRue, who some of you may or do know, was the commencement speaker last night at Forsyth Tech's graduation. They had about 1,000 young people who marched. They weren't all young. The youngest graduate was 15. The oldest graduate was 74. And so anyway, he did a great job of encouraging them for the next phase of their life. So I just wanted to mention that in case Rusty happens to be watching the program.
Well, if we're doing shout-outs, I'm going to do a shout-out to one of my favorite people. Mary Alice is watching tonight, and I think she was thrilled to see the moving forward on the expansion of our community center in Jack Warren Park. For those of you who don't know Mary Alice, she's a young 103-year-old who tries to stay in contact with the town all the time, and we were the beneficiaries of her property there for Jack Warren Park and our community center. So Mary Alice, I hope you're watching. We'll wave. And that was for you. Council members, since we're doing shout-outs, does anybody else want to say something to?
Thank you.
All right. Elliot, if you'll lead us into our closed session.
Certainly, we'll be needing a motion to enter closed session pursuant to General Statute 143-318.11 to Section A5 to establish or to instruct the public body staff or negotiating agents concerning the position to be taken by or on behalf of the public body in negotiating the price and other material terms of a contract or proposed contract for the acquisition of real property by purchase, option, exchange, or lease.
Very good. That is our motion to go into, Elliot, you can't make the motion, so I'll make the motion. I'll second that up. Or offer that up. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Very good. Mr. Huffman makes the second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There is a possibility that we may take an action coming out of this closed session. It won't be substantial, but we may do it. So we'll go into closed session. Of course, if you're watching at home, you'll see the feed, but we'll come back out here shortly. We are in closed session.
Anything.
It is nice.
Very good. Thank you, folks. We just returned from, closed session. We're back in open session. Council members, if I can make the appropriate motion, I'd like to make a motion that we retain the services of, the name of the company.
Claire M. Offrance.
To retain the appraisal services of Clear Offrance to do an appraisal for us on a potential piece of property that we have some interest in.
Second.
Motion to obtain services.
Very good. We have motion and a second by Dr. Sadler. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Very good. We'll get moving on that. Council members, anything before adjournment? Thank you for being here. Any thoughts? Closing, thank you for all the hard work we've done on the budget so far. A reminder, we'll have one more session on Monday, May 13th. Staff, thank you for all your hard work, as always. If there are no other comments or considerations, I entertain a motion to adjourn, please.
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Long makes a motion. Mr. Huffman makes a second. Any discussion?
Yes, real quick.
Yes, ma'am.
Will that meeting on Monday be here, or will it be
It'll be here in this room.
in this room? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Jane. You just jiggled my memory. Plus, a great thank you to the Public Arts Advisory Committee once again for a great young Lewisville artist show that's open now, and it will run through.
It'll be the arts that were awarded, Dora, correct me if I'm wrong, will be at the community center for 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks, very good. So folks, you have 2 weeks to go down and see some of the wonderful works from our young people. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Folks, thank you for joining us at home. Thank you for watching on Facebook, on TV6. We look forward to seeing you at our next meeting. We're adjourned.